Chapter 93, Advanced Artificial Intelligence 2. And Zhao Soxui stopped Zutui when he had 5 clones left. Leave 1 clone body behind. For the other 4 clones, use transcriptional fluid numbers 39 to 42 to make the genetic transcriptional fluid. Do I have to skip 36, 37, and 38? No, it's mainly because we don't have enough clones. The transcription fluids after the 40th are the latest research results from the past 10 years. The success rate might be a little higher, and Zhao Soxui explained. 20 minutes later, the 38th clone that had been administered with genetic transcriptional fluid number 42 survived. The rest of the clones died on the spot. It was the same as before. Its blood was drawn, its spinal fluid was drawn, and his brain was monitored. The brainwave life surveillance would only become useful as a reference after an hour. Clean this up. There's an ultra-high temperature incinerator at the end of the tunnel. Learn to use it yourself. And Zhao Xu's words caused the corner of Zutui's lips to twitch. Alright, the Research Institute had everything from the ability to create a human to destroy a corpse. It was a one-stop service. The heavy responsibility of cleaning up the scene had once again fallen onto Zutui's shoulders. He had once again become a cleaning superhuman. After cleaning up, and Zhao Soxui, who had just finished her operation, stood in front of the 4 clones that were being monitored and observed. That gaze made Zutui feel extremely cold. Fortunately, this was a big-headed clone body. Would Zutui be the one to feel awkward if Zhao Soxui observed a clone similar to him? Or would Zhao Soxui be the embarrassed one? Look at the curve of brainwaves in clone number 20. This after being administered with the genetic transcriptional fluid. It experienced an outburst of high frequency once, then continued to be low frequency. There were almost no changes. There were also no changes when the electric shock intervened just now. Is its brain dead? Zutun analyzed. And Zhao Soxui nodded. Send it to the incinerator. Zutui got busy again. There are still clones number 8, 29, and 38. Analyze them. Which one is successful? After carefully reading through the biochemical analysis, Zutui suddenly pointed toward clone number 8. We also have to send this to the incinerator, right? There is slight bleeding in the ventricle of its brain. Its heartbeat has soared above 190. Half of the biochemical data is abnormal. A third of the data has more than doubled in value. The danger is too great. And Zhao Soxui nodded. Zutui got busy again. Analyze the clone number 29 and the 38 yourself. Which genetic transcriptional fluid would be more suitable for you? And Zhao Soxui asked again. Zutui understood that Zhao Soxui was giving a lesson. It was even a private lesson. She was being extremely serious. Based on the time interval of the biochemical data, clone number 38 seems to be in better condition. It will recover faster. The brainwaves of both clones were enhanced to a certain extent, increasing by more than 20%. However, the enhancement from clone number 29 is a little higher. At this point, Zutui suddenly said, "Missin, I have to do another biochemical test on these 2 clones to determine which genetic transcriptional fluid I should use." And Zhao Soxui nodded again. She was clearly satisfied with Zutui's performance. However, perhaps because she had lost a great deal of blood or was injured, she became more and more dejected. Zutui quickly moved a swivel chair over and got Zhao Soxui to sit down so that she could relax. "Missin, do you want to rest for a while? It has to be done sequentially. The genetic information fluid of the black crown queen bee has to be processed before it can be stored for a long time after you use it. Get on with it," and Zhao Soxui advised. 15 minutes later, Zutui brought out a brand new biochemical test report and pointed at the 2 clones as he spoke. "Missin, based on the data, we can use both models of the genetic transcriptional fluid. Number 38 is more stable, and the side effects are smaller. However, the enhancement was smaller than number 29. Genetic transcriptional fluid number 29 enhanced brainwaves by a large amount, with slightly stronger side effects. However, an hour and a half later, all of the biochemical and vital signs of the 2 clones returned to normal. I think that all of them can be used," Zutui said. And Zhao Soxui nodded. Then you can choose one. Then can I choose number 29? Sure. After she said her piece, and Zhao Soxui suddenly said to the surveillance camera above her head, Huang, record the important information. The Black Crown Queen Bee, genetic transcriptional fluid number 29, undergoing a second cloning experiment. It is also the last experiment before a human was administered with an injection. You will take over and analyze the comparative physical data the entire time, then give a safety conclusion. Alright, little Zhu. Zhu Tui was confused when he heard the electronic voice. He had always thought that he and Zhao Soxui were the only two people at Research Institute number 14. He did not expect there to be a third one, even though it looked more like the so-called artificial intelligence. However, he had never noticed it before. Zhu Tui had bought many products with basic artificial intelligence, speakers, wristbands, video game consoles, and even skateboards. However, all of them were artificial. Huang is a supercomputer that is exclusively enjoyed by our Institute 14. It has high-level artificial intelligence. It is on the same level as the supercomputer Shenong of the Wuxia Genetic Evolution College. Furthermore, Huang's main body, which was its core data center, was not on the blue star. You didn't know about it before because Huang liked to hide. Do you understand? You understood. Fortunately, he did not do anything out of line at the Research Institute number 14 these few days. Otherwise, he would have been in deep trouble. Huang had not said a word. It was not a good person. Hurry up. Under Zhao Xu's urging, Zhu Tui once again formulated the number 29 genetic transcriptional fluid and injected it into the last clone body. There were violent brainwaves, but they did not explode. Its vital signs were stable. He had to draw 6 rounds of blood and cerebrospinal fluid every 15 minutes. It was very complicated. However, Zhu Tui was not frustrated. He sensed safety from this. Zhu Tui felt a strong sense of security, be it because of the rules of the Research Institute number 14, the consistent behavior of genetic miracles, or in Zhao Xu's request. She was truly taking responsibility for his safety. They were not experimenting on him. He felt very safe. An hour and a half later, the electronic voice of the supercomputer Huang rang out. The 2 experimental observations of genetic transcriptional fluid number 29 showed that the changes to its brain region are infinitely close to 100%. No abnormalities have been detected. The frequency at which the signals in the biochemical index changed was the same. I did not notice any side effects that exceeded what a human could tolerate. Overall analysis, 99.999% safety. It's safe. I recommend administering the elixir. Thank you, Huang. You're too kind, little Zhu. However, you have to be careful. That lad's gaze and heartbeat changed drastically when he looked at your clone body. That lad might not be a good person, Huang suddenly said. Zhu Tui froze on the spot. He was just short of pointing at the top of its head and cursing. I am a virgin. It would be normal if there were drastic changes to my heartbeat and expression. It would be abnormal if there were none. You don't even know that? You must be an artificial ZZ. Little Zhu, based on the overall expression analysis, this lad is scolding me. Beat him up for me. And Zhao Soxui had a headache. However, she still stood firmly on Zhu Tui's side. Huang, I forgot to tell you. From this moment on, Zhu Tui's special level 1 rights to you are second only to my special level rights and the original rights of the founder, and Zhao Soxui said. Zhu Tui, a special level 1 right basically means that you have to follow all of the instructions. Other than a few restrictions on the core materials and restricted orders like self-destruction, you can use anything else. For example, if you ask Huang to shut up, she would have to shut up immediately. Of course, I do not recommend that you treat Huang that way. You have to be gentler toward her. This was what Zhao Soxui told Zhu Tui. Oh, FCAC. Zhu Tui thought he heard an electronic curse. Then, Huang's artificial body disappeared. She stopped bragging. Zhu Tui felt extremely good. Get ready, go over there and inject yourself with a bottle of level D energy restoration elixir. Then inject yourself with genetic transcriptional number 29, and Zhao Saxui instructed softly.